Guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video. I'm in a really good mood today. I don't know why. Maybe just because I woke up and filmed a video, ate breakfast, took my vitamins, and I've just had a very productive morning and afternoon. So I'm in a super good mood. For today's video, I'm going to be giving you my review on these brushes. This is by Mikasa Beauty. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not 100% sure, but to me that sounds right just by the way that it's spelled. These brushes I did purchase with my own money. I do have a discount code. It is an affiliate code, so I do get a percentage if you purchase something. So it's totally up to you if you want to use it. I'm not saying that you have to, but you do get a sweet deal if you do. These brushes I've been using for about 3 weeks now, and I wanted to go ahead and use them for a while so that I would know how they worked, if I liked them, if I didn't like them. I do have my favorites that I prefer out of this set. This right here is the 12-piece complete set, and what it includes is an 8-piece essential eye kit set with 4 additional brushes. So with the 8-piece set and the 4 brushes, it makes it the 12-piece complete set. So I'm going to go ahead and share with you what brushes it comes with, the case that it comes in, and then also I was sent a free beauty sponge, and then I'm just going to talk about my favorite ones and why they are my favorite. Alright, so this is the case that it comes with, and I love this case. It looks so sleek, so pretty. It says Mikasa on the front in silver letters, and it has these 2 little snaps on either side. And then when you open it, it was kind of hard to open at first, but now that I've opened it, it's not as hard anymore, is where you store your brushes. And the reason why I love this is because whenever I travel, this is going to hold the brushes that I'm going to need for myself and keep them all together so that they're not all over the place, and then it keeps them clean as well. I think this is really nice for traveling, and it just looks pretty. Like, I love it. It kind of looks like it's like a bottle of alcohol or something. I don't know. I'm not gonna lie, when I first got it, it did smell a lot like glue or something. I don't know if it was the adhesive in the case or the adhesive of the brushes, but it smelled really strong of glue. That's already gone. I don't smell it anymore. The brushes don't smell like that anymore. The case doesn't smell like it anymore, so I'm guessing that it just needed to be aired out. I'm not sure. But I'm gonna go ahead and share with you the brushes that it came with. This little guy right here is the L100, and this is a lip brush, and I love how easy it is to store. I don't like the ones that you have to put a cap on, because if you lose the cap, then the brush is exposed. This one you just lift and the brush comes out. I thought that was so cool. I'm going to talk about the eye brushes first. This one here is the E400, and this is a dual-ended brow brush. So it's got your spoolie on one side, and then it's got your brow brush on the other. It's an angled brush. It's not super stiff and it's not super flimsy. The only thing that I did not like about this brush is that the bristles don't come to a fine edge. It's a little thicker than my usual brow brushes, and it's just because I like to create a really fine line whenever I do my brows. It just makes for easier cleanup. So I use this for like powder product whenever I set my brows with a powder. This is what I use that for, just because it works better for that. And I don't mind the spoolie. The spoolie is pretty small, so I like that because it's not super huge and doesn't like get my brow stuff everywhere. This is the E310, and this is just a pencil brush. This one is a little big. I like to smoke the lower lash line with this. I usually use this with like my transition color because it is so big, so it doesn't apply very close to the lash line. So I like to use this to blend out the lower lash line. This one is the E220, and this one here, it's more of it's a synthetic brush. I think this is like a concealer brush, but I like to use this to pack on like glitter eyeshadows or pigments because it's synthetic. I can also use this to clean up under the brow or to apply concealer under the eye, but I like to use this to pack on like glitter or shimmer shadows just because it does help pick up the product a lot better because it is synthetic, and I can also wet the brush to help with the intensity. But this is what I use that brush for. This is the E230, and this one is an eyeshadow packing brush. It reminds me of the MAC 239 because of its shape and the bristles, but I think it's just a little bit more fluffy. And I like this brush because I can use it to pack on the color and at the same time go in with the end of the brush with the tip and use that to blend that out a little bit, and it really does help blend. It's a little bit more precise though, so it's not gonna blend like everywhere. It's just gonna stay where you put it and where you blend. So this one I use for like darker shadows, just because that's what I'm applying on the outer corner, and then usually bring it in slightly into the crease. And then I also use this to buff out the lower lash line if I'm not using the pencil brush. This is the E300. This one I don't like too much for the eyes. I feel like the bristles are pretty, I don't know, they're not super soft and they don't move around too much. I think this is supposed to be like a blending brush, but I like to use this as a nose contour brush just because it places the product where it needs to go and it blends it out just a little bit. I have not used this for like blending out any eyeshadow, just because I felt it and I didn't feel like it was gonna blend out very well. I don't like these type of blending brushes, so I like to use this as a nose contour brush. And I know it's an eyeshadow brush, but if a brush works for you, whether it's for the eyes, for the face, if it works for you doing certain things, then use it for that. And the last of the eye brushes is the E320. This one here is more of a blending crease brush. It's not super fluffy, so it's not going to diffuse the color out like too much unless you work it, you know, more. This is more of a blending in the crease and being a little bit more precise than a fluffy blending brush. So that's what I like to use for this one. This one I use for like, not my transition color, because usually my transition color is pretty blown out. This is the one that I use more in the crease to keep it in the crease. Hey guys, I had to come back and include this brush in the video because I totally forgot to include it, and this was hiding on my vanity and I didn't see it until I started to edit, but I didn't want to leave it out. This one is the E100 brush. I love this brush for applying my gel liner. It's very thin. It's actually thinner than the brow brush, so you could use this as your brow brush as well. It just doesn't have the spoolie on the other end. But I also like it for applying product to my lower lash line whenever I want to get really, really close. But I really love this brush for gel liner. It's perfect and it's easy to work with. I didn't want to leave it out though because it does come with the set, so I just want to make sure that you guys know that. Alright, now let's move on to the face brushes. This one is the F200, and this is just your normal stippling brush. It's pretty big. I like to use this to blend out everything once I've applied my bronzer, my blush, my highlight. I just use this to blend everything into the skin and make sure that there's not any harsh lines. This is the F100, and this is an all-over powder brush. I love the size of this brush. It's so big, so whenever I'm applying my setting powder, I just feel like it gets all of the areas of my face really quickly. It's not super soft, but I really don't mind that too much. But yeah, I just like it for setting the face just because it's so huge, so it covers a lot of my face at one time. This is the F111. This one, I believe it's a blush bronzer brush. I love using this for bronzer. I don't like it too much for blush just because I feel like it's too big to place on my cheeks. Just, it's too big for blush for me, because I don't really use too much blush. I usually go in pretty light-handed with the blush, but I love this for bronzer just because I feel like it's the perfect size and it just blends everything so well. So this has become my favorite bronzer brush. Like, I love this brush. And then another one of my favorites is the F120. This one is what I use to highlight now, and I like it because it's, again, the perfect size for that area. I tried using this to set underneath the eyes and I just didn't like it. I felt like it didn't, I just didn't like the way that it placed the powder underneath my eyes. So I decided, well, let's try it as a highlighter brush. I really, really love it for that. This is actually a tapered contour brush, but I do not use this as a contour brush. I use this to highlight. When I placed my order, they also sent me a free beauty sponge, and they call it the Lemon Drop, and I'm guessing because it's yellow. This reminds me a lot of the new L'Oreal sponge. The only problem that I had with the sponge is whenever I was trying to clean it, I couldn't get the foundation out. Like, most of it came out, but I feel like it got stained. I'm not really a fan of the shape, just because when it does expand, this part also gets fatter. It doesn't come to like a long point here. So I just have a little trouble getting it right in the inner corner of the eye whenever I'm trying to blend out my concealer. And just for that reason, I'd rather have a teardrop shaped sponge, just because it's easier for me to work with. As far as shedding, the only two brushes that I've had problems with shedding is these two, the powder brush and the one that I use for bronzer. They did shed a lot when I first washed them, because obviously you want to wash your brushes before you use them, just to make sure that they're clean and they're not full of any dirt or any glue or anything from the packaging. But they did shed a lot. They shed a whole lot whenever I first washed them. I don't know if it was just stuff that was loose, because I mean they're still pretty fluffy. Every once in a while when I'm applying product, I'll get a little piece, but I mean, it doesn't bother me. It's not like they shed a lot. I've washed these twice. Every time I wash them, they do shed just a little bit, but the first time they did shed a lot. I think it's just from needing to be cleaned before using them. I always clean my brushes before I use anything, just because I don't know where they've been, how they were packaged, who touched them. So I need to make sure that I clean my brush. The set that I just showed you, it's the Mikasa 12-piece complete set, and that one is $135. But with my code, you do save 25%. So if you decide you want to save 25%, go ahead and use my code. I'll go ahead and leave that down below as well with the website. They do have other sets. So like if you were interested in some of the brushes, not all of them, they have an 8-piece essential kit set. They also have a set that is just for the face, so it's just face brushes. They also have the, I don't know if you can see, the new like toothbrush looking sets. I don't know why, they just look like toothbrushes to me. This is the one that I want to order next, just because I've been really tempted to try these brushes. So I don't know, I think that's what I'm gonna order next. Also wanted to let you guys know this video is not sponsored. They are not paying me to do this review. I'm doing this just on my own, just because I wanted to share this with you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you again so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!